Have you ever wondered why you're still scrolling through social media at 3 a.m. instead of conquering the world like you promised yourself? Or why that groundbreaking business idea of yours is still just a scribble on a napkin? Here's a wild thought. Maybe, just maybe, your brain is royally fucked. But don't worry, you're not alone in this mental cluster. In fact, most of us are walking around with brains that are about as organized as a teenager's bedroom after a weekend bender. It's a miracle we can tie our own shoelaces, let alone achieve our lofty goals. So, what's the solution? Your brain, of course. Sounds simple, right? Well, buckle up, Buttercup, because we're about to dive into some serious stuff that's going to shake up your brain in a good way. Trust us, why your brain needs First things first, let's talk about why this matters. Your brain is the command center for everything you do. If it's a mess, guess what? Your life's going to be a mess too. You know those goals you've been talking about for years? The ones that always seem just out of reach? Yeah, those. The reason you're not crushing them is simple. Your brain is working against you. Think about it. How many times have you sat down to work on something important only to find yourself 3 hours deep in a YouTube rabbit hole? Or maybe you've told yourself this is the year you'll finally get in shape, but somehow you always end up on the couch with a bag of chips instead of at the gym. The hard truth is, most people want to achieve great things, but most people won't. And it's not because they're not capable, it's because their brains are So, if we want to change our lives, we've got to start by changing our minds. Step 1. Declare war on distractions. Let's get real for a second. We're living in a world that's designed to distract us. Your phone, your computer, even your TV, they're all competing for your attention. And guess what? They're winning. Here's a challenge for you. Try to go 24 hours without checking your phone. Sounds easy, right? Well, give it a shot and you'll quickly realize just how addicted you are. But here's the kicker. You're not addicted to your phone. You're addicted to distraction. This addiction is rewiring your brain, making it harder and harder to focus on anything for more than a few minutes at a time. And without focus, you can kiss those big goals goodbye. So what's the solution? We're going to implement a 30-day protocol. Here's how it works. 1. Break your day into 30-minute segments from 1 a.m. to 12 p.m. 2. For each segment, track what you're doing. 3. At the end of 30 days, look at your data and identify all the pointless shit you're wasting time on. 4. Then, and this is the hard part, cut it out. It sounds simple, and it is. But simple doesn't mean easy. You're going to feel uncomfortable. You might even feel a little lost at first. But trust us, it's worth it. Because on the other side of that discomfort is a brain that's actually capable of getting shit done. Get out of the anti-zone. Now that we've declared war on distractions, let's talk about something that's keeping most people stuck. Confusion. We're calling this the anti-zone, and it's a place where dreams go to die. You know you're in the anti-zone when you feel like you should be doing something, but you have no idea what that something is. So you end up doing nothing, or worse, you work on the wrong things for years and end up with nothing but regret to show for it. The anti-zone is a dangerous place because it feels busy. You're always thinking about what you should be doing, but you're never actually doing anything. It's like being stuck in a hamster wheel of indecision. So how do we get out of this? We need to enter what athletes and high performers call the zone. This is that magical state where you're so focused on what you're doing that the rest of the world fades away. Time seems to slow down and you're operating at peak performance. Here's how to get there. 1. Define your destination. Don't overthink this. Just ask yourself, where do I want to be in 5 years? And write down the answer. 2. Break that big goal down into smaller, actionable steps. 3. Take action on those steps every single day. No exceptions. This might sound overly simple, but that's the point. The zone isn't some mystical state that only elite athletes can access. It's simply what happens when you have crystal clear focus on a well-defined goal. Step 3. Fix your fucked up diet. All right, we've tackled distractions and confusion. Now it's time to talk about something that most people completely ignore when they're trying to unfuck their lives. Their diet. Here's the deal. Your body is a system. It has inputs and outputs. The food you eat, the sleep you get, the air you breathe, these are all inputs. And guess what? They directly affect your outputs, which include your thoughts, your energy levels, and your ability to focus. You wouldn't put cheap gas in a Ferrari and expect it to perform at its best, right? So why the hell are you expecting your brain to operate at peak performance when you're feeding it junk? We've all had that experience of trying to read something important and realizing we can't focus for more than 2 sentences. That's not because you're stupid, it's because your brain is running on fumes. Remember, you can have all the motivation and willpower in the world, but if your brain is running on fumes, you're not going to get very far. Step 4, embrace the suck. Now, here's where things get real. Everything we've talked about so far, cutting out distractions, getting clear on your goals, fixing your diet, it's all going to suck at first. Your brain is going to fight you every step of the way. Why? Because your brain loves comfort. It's wired to seek pleasure and avoid pain. And right now, scrolling through social media, binge-watching Netflix, and eating junk food feels a lot more pleasurable than working towards your goals. But here's the secret that successful people know. Growth happens outside of your comfort zone. You've got to be willing to embrace the suck if you want to your life. So when you feel like quitting, when you're tempted to fall back into old habits, remember this. Discomfort is the price of admission for a better life. The pain you feel today is creating the strength you need for tomorrow. Step 5, build systems, not goals. All right, we're in the home stretch now. We've cleared out the mental clutter, we've got our diet on point, and we're embracing the suck. Now it's time to talk about how we're going to make all of this sustainable. Here's the problem with most people's approach to self-improvement. They focus on goals instead of systems. Goals are great for giving you direction, but systems are what actually get you there. What's the difference? A goal is the destination. A system is the vehicle that gets you there. For example, losing 20 pounds is a goal. Working out 3 times a week and meal prepping every Sunday is a system. The problem with focusing solely on goals is that you're in a constant state of failure until you reach the goal. And let's be real, that can be pretty demotivating. But when you focus on systems, you win every day you stick to the system, regardless of the outcome. The final word, consistency is key. We've covered a lot of ground here. We've talked about declaring war on distractions, getting out of the anti-zone, fixing your diet, embracing discomfort, building systems, and surrounding yourself with excellence. But none of this matters if you don't do one crucial thing. Stay consistent. Brain and your life isn't a one-time event. It's not something you do for a week or a month and then go back to your old ways. It's a lifelong commitment to growth and improvement. Will you mess up sometimes? Absolutely. Will there be days when you fall back into old habits? You bet. But here's the thing. It's not about being perfect. It's about being consistent. It's about getting back on track when you fall off instead of using one slip-up as an excuse to give up entirely. Lastly, remember, every day is a new opportunity to make better choices, to push yourself a little further, to your brain a little more. So don't wait for the perfect moment to start. The perfect moment is now. Your brain might be up right now, but it doesn't have to stay that way. You have the power to change, to grow, to become the person you've always wanted to be. It won't be easy, but nothing worth doing ever is. So what are you waiting for? It's time to your brain and your life. The journey starts now.